Thank you very much, Bruno Fernandes. That was a captain's goal that dug Maguire out of a hole, that leaves Amorim relieved and leaves United in the top 8 going into the last game. And I'll tell you what, big up to Batano for powering United People's TV tonight. And I'll tell you what, you should have all listened to me. I told you it was going to be 2-1. It was obvious. It wasn't obvious at all. But that goal, my word, what a lovely pass that was. What a fantastic ball from Martinez. Lovely run round the back post from Bruno. And it was a captain's goal on a night where we needed it. We were 1-0 up. Let's be honest, Rangers were like League One level. Rangers had so many injuries. The back four completely shifted. Garnacho had a clear-cut chance. Maguire should have scored a header as well. And it was a wonderful goal. And Maguire just got nudged off the ball. No way does Maguire get nudged off the ball like that. It's just he wasn't concentrating enough to know that his man was just behind him. And it was a great finish, to be fair. But Bruno came up with the goods. And that tonight needed to be just like get the job done sort of performance. And that's exactly what that performance was. But for Bruno, look, I don't need to jump and sort of hyperbole, about how good Bruno is or how important he is to this team. Bruno is just Bruno. I wouldn't take Bruno out of this team for many players. Bruno will be here for... I love Bruno. I've always loved Bruno. He's our best signing post-Fergie. And I hope he stays long enough to see this team actually compete in the Premier League. Seriously. Because United had control of that game there tonight. But we didn't have the finishing quality, right? And Amorim's going to be doing that. Tonight was about get the job done. After the game at the weekend against Brighton and everything that was said, his reactions, you could tell that Amorim was sort of a little bit, a little tiny bit flustered by what had happened this week because he'd lost his cool. He's probably a little bit annoyed about himself that he lost his cool. I'd tell you what, if Bruno didn't score that goal, because he saved the blushes of Maguire, he saved the blushes of a United team, which, for all the control and all the possession that we had and all the opportunities that we really had going forward, we were only 1-0 up. We didn't bury the game. And then those sorts of conversations came in. Game management. Man, you're looking at game management there. That's exactly what United didn't have. But could I just take a minute or two here, maybe just a minute, just to say how much of a joke that was. Big up to Jack Butland, by the way. We'll send you the money in the post. But that was just an utterly ridiculous... this has been happening all season. We were following the Arsenal model, if you want to open a set-piece book, whatever it was. Players at the back stick, running forward as the corner comes in, causing a bit of chaos. And it worked. And we got a goal. But of course, when United do it, hey lads, let's find a reason to rule that out. That was ridiculous. Genuinely ridiculous that got ruled out. And the fact that we got a goal from such a ridiculous punch from Butland... they kind of balanced each other out in the end. Ahmad there tonight, and I think this is a real compliment to Ahmad. Every time he had the ball on that right-hand side, 2-3 Rangers players kind of shifted over towards him. Hardly any point during that game did Ahmad have the opportunity to run at his defender one-on-one. That's the reputation building. It was a little bit unfortunate because Ahmad was kind of semi-marked out of the game. But I have to really sort of have a conversation here about how Garnacho played in that game. Because I think Garnacho was the most direct threat that we had the whole game. And by that, I mean how he was operating. Garnacho got the ball, brought it forward, played direct. And Garnacho, we're hearing talks about him being linked with the move to Chelsea. I don't want United to sell Garnacho. Especially in January, there is 0% of me that wants to entertain the idea of selling Garnacho. If after the next 6 months he doesn't really cement himself into the team and there's still question marks, then in the summer I think that's a conversation that you could be having. But given the options that we've got, I can't trust that this club would sell Garnacho and use that money to then reinforce the squad when we're so light in options up front. And I thought there tonight, Garnacho played well. Did he get his goal? No. Did he miss that big goal and opportunity? Yeah, it was a strange one. It kind of came in from Ahmad when he finally was able to beat his man because he wasn't getting double marked out of the game. And then he kind of took the touch on his left foot and bounced up, went to the right. That was a bit odd, really. But he was playing direct and with a threat. And I thought it was kind of a thorn in, I say a thorn in Rangers' side. I'm going back to it again. United needed a 93rd minute, 94th minute winner from Bruno to spare the blushes of a team which should have really, by the time that Rangers got that goal, it should have been 2, if not 3-0. And that should have been a bit of a consolation. And that would annoy Ruben Amorim. But ultimately, he's got the result. And that there tonight, and I've said this before, because that now puts us in the top 8 going into our last game, I think on paper we can now draw our last game and still finish in the top 8, but I don't quite know that, so don't quote me on that. To go through these last 2 Europa League games and avoid the extra 2 games in February, I swear, Amorim is almost like praying for it. He's desperate for it because it will give him, I think, 3 weeks in February with only weekend games. 3 empty midweeks in a row. And he is desperate for that. I'll tell you somebody who definitely deserves plaudits there tonight was Toby Collyer. His first European start. I think he started against Barnsley at left back. I think so. It's his first United start in his position. And Rio Ferdinand, with the commentator's curse, as soon as he said he played well, there was an easy ball onto Ahmad and he completely spooned it. But Collyer did the simple things effectively. And that's all. And that's not all a central midfielder has to do. And you kind of have to be complimented by your partner. But that's all Collyer had to do tonight because he had Bruno alongside him. It wasn't about bringing the ball forward or finding the part. It was about doing the simple stuff. And there was one little tiny mistake in the first half, but I think De Ligt kind of gave him a little bit of a hospital pass. I think he'll be delighted with his performance. I think he'll be happy. And he really does strike me as a good understudy for Ugarte in midfield anyway. That's kind of what I feel. Now, before the game, I'm not sure if you saw it, but Manchester United, in a statement from Manchester United to the 1958 in response to the ticket price rises that went without consultation, that was released. And this was a banner in the Stretford end, "Your debt, not ours." And if you looked at the statement from United, I really do expect ticket price rises to come. So I think there's a lot more trouble to come when it comes to Ineos and it comes to fans having to pay for the atrocities of our football club from a financial perspective. But Bruno came up with the goods when we needed him to. And we needed him to there because that win there, we're just in like results. It kind of like, it feels like survival mode right now. It feels like we're not really building much, but you just need to get the wins to just stop just ease the pressure from the outside. Allow us to actually, build something. And that's what Amorim wants. He's got that win there tonight. Go and get the job done and finish it next week. And we'll have 2 or 3 midweeks off in February. And that could make all the difference. But United, as always, making hard work of it. That's what we always do.